morning, home and audience in the studio. You're welcome to the season 2 edition of Complicated. We bring to you nothing but the best. And of course, I always have a very beautiful co-host in the house. And she's by name Asia Falano. Once again, guys hosting this show with you. In season 1, I think it was mind-blowing. We had enough to talk about. We talked about issues. We talked about many things. And before we want to apologize to our audience in the studio and also at home for starting a bit late. We normally are scheduled to start exactly 3 p.m., but somehow for logistical and technical reasons, a bit late. We sincerely apologize, and we hope this wouldn't come up in the next episode. So like I said, this is the first episode of the second season, and the program is Complicated. And this is a live streaming show that comes your way every Saturday at exactly 12:30 p.m. We bring to you conversations concerning relationships, concerning the dilemmas of marriage and all that comes with it. So, this morning, we are loaded and most optimistic that what we're going to talk about is going to touch both the single and the married. But, like I always say, I have Asia Falano in the house. You're welcome to this program once again. And for our audience in the studio, we want to say thank you for coming, thank you for subscribing, thank you for even deeming it fit to be part of the season 1. We promise it's going to be a life-blowing experience, and we're going to learn about a lot of things. We're going to talk to life, communicate, and of course, bring out the best from some of these discussions. I remember in our in the last season 1, a lot of feedbacks came, and we decided to get better this time. We decided to expand our horizon, and that's why we are in a larger and bigger studio today, where we have live audience that will be talking and communicating a lot of things that has to do with relationship. So to begin this morning, I would like to just talk briefly about how we actually started. We started little. We were, very humble, and here today we are expanding. We are reaching more coast. We are expanding our horizon, and the Life Events conglomerate, like I would say, is a company that is a world-class company. They are the best at what they do. Of course, they cover events, life events, and stream a lot of activities that goes around not only in North America but around the world. Because this organization is an international organization that is based both in Africa, West Africa, the United States, and of course, United Kingdom. So once again, I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone to the show. On this show today, we have lots and lots of prizes that will be going out to our audience seated out here today, because we value their time, and coming to the studio to be part of this, we want to say thank you, and thank you again. This session is going to be, of course, a 1-hour section, and we're going to be covering a couple of things. It's a live streaming event, and we want you to call in. You can call us on WhatsApp on 317-406-6469. And you can join us on our social media handles, especially on YouTube. Most especially today, we're going to be more on YouTube, right? So it's at Official The Live Events on YouTube. Please, we want you to subscribe and get notifications every time we come live, or we're doing an event, or we post on those channels. Please, we want you to subscribe to that channel, and we'll take it up from there. And we want to, even before we go on, give a big shout out to Ellis Cousins, located at 6335 Intech Commons Drive, Indianapolis. You get the best of African continental meals. I mean, I was here last week, had the best meal ever. We want to say thank you to the man for giving us the opportunity, to be here today and be part of, what the good things that is happening here in this. So, Falana, I love to call you that name most of the time. Even, I think I actually forgot to actually introduce myself, but it's just in the aura of what's happening. I'm so excited. My name is Yemi Ogumide. Of course, I am one of your favorite hosts on this program titled Complicated, where we talk about life issues, relationships, marriage dilemmas, and all that comes with it, right? So in the studio today, we'll be talking about a topic. We normally try to keep our audience in suspense about the topics that we talk about. But today, being the first episode of the season 2, we're not going to keep you in suspense. We're going to dive straight into it, and we'll start talking about these issues. The topic today will be, and this is, we have a way of coining the topics. It's the unconventional doing things, life events, right? So the topic is, should you stay in an abusive relationship because your partner or spouse takes good care of you? Note, good care of you, the kids, and your family. Should you stay in an abusive relationship because your spouse or your partner takes good care of you, your kids, and your family? This topic is large, and we are open to this discussion. We are open to talking about these things as it will affect us and everyone around the world. So, Asia Falana, let me just put it to you. Would you stay in an abusive relationship? No, let me land. No, Falana, let me land. Now, so that's why I said if your spouse is taking good care, that's why in quotes, good care, would you stay? If it's taking care of you, kids, and your entire family. And this question is posed to both the male and the female gender. So it's not about if to the male or it's cut across. So talk to me. Okay.
So, to answer that question, you said spouse, but I want to come to that because before you even get to the stage of spouse, that means you haven't been abused already. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, in that context, okay. Yes.
So, I always say the way that you let people treat you, determines how they're going to treat you.
Sure.
So, if you're letting yourself be abused by whether you're man or your woman, it's going to continue no matter what. So that means you're letting them know that it's okay for you to be treated that way.
Okay.
So my now let me bring it back to subjective answer.
Okay. All right.
My response would be no, I will not stay because of that. Because there's so many other ways. Is it just because of the provision that's coming from you? Is it because you're providing something for me and my family or my kids? Is it because of that? Because if there's material things, you can always do that somewhere else.
Yeah, sure.
Where that other person can be able to take care of you as well. If not, take good care of yourself so that we can show other people how to take care of you. So I mean that's my position right now. But of course we're gonna go more into it once we get time is passing by. But that's my response. And what about you?
Well, I share the same opinion with you. I don't know what the audience in the studio might think. They might have, an opposite, opinion. But the truth, and I will never shy away from the fact that abusive relationship will be never entertained anywhere in the world, right? And we've had some of these things happen with, people stay in those relationships, and the aftermath of staying in that relationship is detrimental. And for me, It's a no, 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 no. It's a red flag, like we always say, right? It's a red flag, right? So, we are going to go on a commercial break now, right? And when we come back, we're going to be talking and diving into the annals of this discussion, because this is even wider than we think, right? And we know our audience out there at home and also in the studio too have one or two things to say. Your comments and your feedbacks on our social media handles will help a lot. So when we come back from this commercial break, we will still be live streaming from the studios of live events. Don't go away. We'll be right back on Complicated.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I'm one of the executive ushers that works with Life Events. What I think about Life Events is I think it's a really good company. It's just starting up and it's expanding a lot. And it would be a really good company to hire for your parties and any events you have, because we are very professional, we know what we're doing, and we always put your interests first.
Would you welcome us? All right, you are welcome back to Complicated, and thank you for joining us back after that commercial break. I want to say thank you to all the audience at home and the audience in the studio this morning. We appreciate your time and you coming in to be part of this, event. Say thank you and thank you and thank you again. And if you're just joining us, this is Complicated, your favorite, live streaming program that comes your way every Saturday by exactly 12:30 p.m. And we promise it's going to be a life-long experience. We want you to be part of it. Join us on our social media handle at Official The Live Events on YouTube. And you can, of course, subscribe so that you can get notifications when we come live on this, program. So, Falana, pardon me, I just love calling that name. I don't know why. I love calling that name, right? Well, we're talking about the topic for today, which is titled, Should You Stay in an Abusive Relationship? Because your partner And the reason why we say partner is because it might just be a relationship, right? It might just be a boyfriend, girlfriend, relationship, or your spouse being in the marriage. Could it be because they're taking care of you or your kids, and of course your family? And trust me, a lot of people are gone 6 feet down the ground because of what we are talking about. And it's serious business. It's a serious issue. And for me, I just think there's no reason why you should stay in a relationship where you are being molested, where you are being insulted, where you're not respected. And abusive goes beyond even some of these things we say. It might be domestic, it might be any kind of, abuse. But an abuse is an abuse. It might be emotional, right? It might be, I've seen people talk down people. We're supposed to encourage our spouse, our partners, make them feel loved, make them feel respected. But some people talk down and, But on the other hand, you will see people who would say they want to stay in that relationship and die there. What do you think about that? So, and there are several reasons to this. So, can you, tell me one or two of the reasons why you think people stay in an abusive relationship and continue to stay and stay and stay until something happens? Because recently, we had one or two celebrities who were in an abusive relationship, covering up. They covered up until we had they were 6 feet. Yes. And it's a concern. And the good news about that is that brought a lot of awareness. It brought a lot of our, because I even got to know that men are also abused.
Everybody is abused.
You're right. But it was more attached to the women at some point, But now men are in relationships or marriages and they are abused, but some of them still want to stay in it. So I want you to throw more light on this and why you think some people want to stay in some of these relationships and just want to die there.
I like how you said it like that.
That's what I feel.
Right. Yeah, I understand. One of the main reasons is because of the I think kind of going back to what I said earlier. You're getting some free. So, if the woman is taking good care of you, for example, and is being abused, the woman has money, is rich, comes from a wealthy family, and you're getting that advantage, you're getting that benefits from it, most men will still stay. Just like how women, like you said, women, it often happens more with women. Women are more abused than men. I mean, statistics is proving that.
Wow.
But whether we know it for it to be a fact or not. But women are because they're probably not working. They probably do have kids. The man is taking care of them, providing them with a house, a home, paying bills, whatever it is, just providing to them. That's why I'm like, is provision a reason for me to stay in an abusive relationship when I could go somewhere else and get it? So I feel like that's one of the main reasons. And as for women, I think another reason would be because they're already used to it. They're used to it. That's the norm for them.
Okay. So, and I think you're bringing that used to it in the sense that, because I've seen people. That's how men behave. Just live with it. That's a man's word. I mean, you just need to be there to keep your relationship right. And see, a lot of people are dying. We all come out, wear good clothes, and we're like looking flashy and all that. But underneath, a lot of things are going on. And sometimes it's hard, but you're going to run with it.
Yeah.
If a relationship is slapping you,
that's a no-no, by the way.
you're not married yet, and you begin to get slaps.
Yeah.
I can assure you, I think I said it in one of our shows, that if a man slaps you, the possibility of him beating you with his hands is next, and the possibility of him beating you with a belt or a wipe is next. And the possibility of him breaking your bones is inevitable. And when he breaks your bones, that means he wants to kill you. A man who wants to break your bones is going to kill you, right? On both sides, we should be treated with a lot of affection, and a lot of love. And trust me, we've had situations of people who stay, because as this generation, a lot of things changed. Because I used to hear our old parents say, because of my children.
Yeah, a lot of people use it in this case because of the kids.
Because I say this, the children will have, if you die, they will continue. Their life will continue like no other. Like, they would even have a better life. I'm telling you the truth. They would have a better life. So, if we want to stay in marriage or a relationship because of children, this children would grow, and I'll grow you at some point. Right? So, your life is more important to you than what you are holding on to, right? And I know our studios our audience in the studio this morning, once again, thank you for your patience. And before we go, we wanted to get your opinions about this, right? We want to pick your brain and get to know what you feel about some of these issues. They are life-threatening issues, and I don't know what your opinion is about it. We're going to talk to our audience now, and let's have their view about, what they feel about some of these issues, especially in an abusive relationship, right? So, everybody in the studio wants to, yes.
I think no matter what the benefit is in an abusive relationship, it does not outweigh the demerits of being abused. So, and then I think one of the reasons why an abusive relationship does not start in the day, there are usually red flags.
I love that. That an abusive relationship doesn't just start in a day. There should be red flags. There should be pointers to that, right? Sir.
Sometimes maybe love is always blind or not.
Love is blind.
That may be a discussion for another day. But
okay.
And then for most people that stays in an abusive relationship, we can't always fault all of them because some of them are not empowered enough to be on their own, and then some of them see the abusive part of their partner as just a face, and then they are attracted towards the other part that does not abuse them, and they try to make up for that and try to weigh it up and.
Okay.
And maybe they're always also very forgiving. But an abusive relationship, we don't know where it starts, we don't know where it ends. Like you said, a lot of people end up six feet under. So, and it's unfortunate that it happens more than we realize. A lot of people out there that we just see it, people that are even very close to us, we don't know that they're in relationships that are abusive. People that are friends to us, we don't even know some of them abuse their partner, their spouse. It can be very terrible.
Wow. That's quite revealing. Yeah. That's quite revealing. Yeah. And see, talk of these things, right? Most times, people just, I don't know where it comes from, but I've heard people say, manage it. It's your thing. See, it's your thing, it's your thing. I'm telling you, people have lost their mind. They have lost their self-esteem. I've seen people that after abusive relationship, they can't even take decisions themselves.
They can't function.
They can't function properly, right? Yeah. So some of the, back to the audience, right? But I also wanted to talk about this because, like, we're almost 30 minutes into the time, just. So we should, talk about this stuff. And I've heard people also say that in my family there has been never any breakup or divorce. So I don't want to be the one who will break the jinx.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one who they will say, right now, let me be the one. If my life is at stake because I am in an abusive relationship, let me be the one to first step out.
Yeah.
Because at times people are just afraid of what will happen next. How do I start my life? How do I break out of this? And what will my family members say? And that has been the problem. Yeah. You had, like one of, a prominent, musician in West Africa that, died of, that kind of a thing. It was just, even when the pastors and everybody came, they would pretend. They would tell the children, don't say anything. It was after the demise of the woman that the children started talking. And trust me, of course, the word will come on them. You started talking now when your mother is dead. You would have said this thing like 5 years ago, and this woman would have been rescued. We have a lot of therapists now who, that's what they do. They quickly talk to people, talk them and tell them, see, this is your life. You can't afford to continue to be in this. People are scared of what the community, the world will say about them. Yeah. But I tell you the truth today, your life is most important. You are better off an abusive relationship than staying there and dying. I've seen a woman who was in an abusive relationship and she just kept losing weight. Just kept losing. You wonder what the problem is. And she lives in a big house. She rides the best car, but trust me, she's and some of these things happen, right? And we must speak out when we need to speak out, right?
Yeah, and most times I think those abusive relationships continue.
Okay.
Because only for the sole fact of the financial part. Especially if a woman I'm going to the woman because of course that's what I have more information on. But
yeah.
If a woman does not have the ability or capability to provide financially for herself,
okay,
and she's depending on another man to do it or her partner to do it, she's going to stay there because she knows that that's the person that has that control over her life. So I think that's one of the reasons that you said. And then you also made a statement where you said that a lot of the reasons why most people stay in those relationships is because of the opinions of others.
Okay.
Maybe family, culture, whatever it is nobody has been able to leave their partners, even in situations like that.
Yeah.
But it only takes one person to make a change.
I'm telling you the truth.
Maybe there are other people who are waiting for that encouragement to be able to also make that decision. But because they know, in this family we don't do divorce or we don't break up from each other. We have been in since the beginning of time, so then we have to continue till 6 feet under. But it takes that one person to make that change and be able to open eyes for other people to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I wanted to add from what you said as well, because it is true. It's the fear for people to leave, and how can I be able to make it when I leave this relationship? When I know I'm not financially stable. And this is a person, even though he's abusing me, this is a person that has been providing for me financially. How am I going to survive? So I think that's what it is. But we have to remember there's resources out there nowadays. We're in 2023.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources out there that could be able to help you. There are even groups, and I'm speaking of this world that we're in, this part of the world, where there's groups that could be able to help anybody who's in an abusive relationship. So I just want to throw that out there, but giving it back to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Asefalana, as I would call you, right?
My name.
Yeah. And I still want to turn to the audience and still get your view about this issue we're discussing. Should you remain in an abusive relationship if your spouse is taking good care of you, your kids, and of course, your entire family? Let me have the other audience say something.
I would advise any lady or any man to stay in an abusive relationship. And I think most ladies stay in that kind of relationship because what would people say?
Yeah.
I was once in such a situation. my first marriage, I was being abused, molested. I kept it to myself. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't discuss it with my friends. But there was a day that my mom, I think she was somewhere in Ikorodu. I was the only one at home in Surulere. So he came and started his usual ways, started beating me. It's not as if I've planned it or something. I was just like, if this should continue, I'm going to die. What's going to happen to my kids? I love them so much. I have to pick, is it my life for them or I just die? And right there I said, I'm done. I said, I'm done. It was like, what? I said, yes, I'm done. I said, okay, I will see how you are going to survive without me and the kids. And my statement was, my God will surprise you. Then I was in my 20s, and I can tell you right now, I'm on top of the world.
That's right.
I'm doing great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Or any man to stay in an abusive relationship because of what people say.
That's right.
What? I think a lot has been taken away from what you just said. See, some of these decisions might come spontaneously, but if you take them, it might just be life-saving, right? A lot goes on under our, our news, and nobody even talks about it. But thank God for the awareness now. Just like you said, there are a lot of organizations that are against these things, and you can speak to, you can liaise with, and they can help you out of, some of these situations. I want to thank our audience for, contributing, and that's why we love you. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We've really taken a lot from, what you guys have said, this morning. Thank you once again. Thank you. And, I wanted to actually add a couple of things to this. Some of also the things that do not make people break away from it is the spiritual aspects. My church, my mosque, what would they say? And the fun thing is that they go to counseling from their pastors, their imams and all that, and they will tell you, just hold on, it will get better. And somehow people, and because of probably the positions they hold in church and some of those spiritual organizations, nobody wants to, I don't want to be like out of this marriage so that people will not have one or two things to say. But the truth is, it is whoever is alive that can preach on the altar or that can be in church, that can be in mosque, right? Our life, some of these decisions are self-decisions. You shouldn't wait for an influence, a cultural influence, a spiritual influence, before you can take some of these decisions, right? Just like our audience has said, she took that decision and she's at the top of the world, at the top of her career, at the best time of her life. Probably if she had not taken it then, she might not be where she is now, right? So, some of these things are very, what do you think, Asia?
No, I'm with, like you hear, I'm hearing say, yeah, that's right. Because I'm over here, and I like that because that's an encouragement for somebody else who's watching right now as well, who's probably going through a situation like that. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you again for speaking up because not everybody is able to share your life. Yeah. And you look good, by the way, so you are on top of the world. You look good. You look good. Awesomely. So that's it. It only takes one person to make a change and encourage the next person. Okay. Like you said, sometimes it is that culture. I'm coming back to the statement that you just made. Okay. Sometimes it's the cultural or the religious aspect. Yeah. Oh, because church, let's say example, you're Christian and divorce is not allowed or whatever is not allowed. But at the end of the day, you're going to stay in that marriage or that relationship and die. What example are you really setting for the person? Because sooner or later, they're going to find out that you're still in a relationship even though you're being abused. Sure. And you were counseling them even though you were being abused and just hiding it. I believe in living your truths. So if whatever's going on in your life and you're hiding it but you're being hypocritical about it, then you're not a good example for me to
Follow.
anyway.
Yeah.
So, living your truth. If somebody's being abusive to you, where in your or in your relation that says be there and be abused? I want to know, because if that is the excuse that people are using to stay in a relationship, that's not a good excuse.
It
doesn't cut it.
It doesn't.
If you're being abused, whether you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're Buddhist, whatever it is, no. The whole world, the whole religion is just religion,
Yeah.
but it's all about love. If somebody's abusing you, that's not love. So are they really preaching that religion that you're actually in? Do you get what I'm saying? So we have to think about things like that. I want to be a good example. So if I'm going to stay in a relationship where I'm being abused, but I'm telling somebody else, I'm preaching to somebody else and they're listening to me, but I'm not living my truth, then I'm not really preaching to that person. I'm just being a hypocrite. Yeah, I'm being a hypocrite to that person.
Word.
So we need to be able to remember that religion should not be a reason why you lose your life.
Yeah. So, this is. I mean, we've been able to really break the ice this morning and talk about, some of these things. And thank you, audience, for giving that light. And a lot of people have learned from just what you said. Now, you might just that utterance, just speaking out now, might save thousands of people from abusive relationships. And it's not the end of the world. You move on and even get better. So I want to say thank you to our audience in the studio today. You guys have been phenomenal. And it's still your favorite streaming live program, Complicated, from the studios of Life Events. And we're still here in the studio talking about, should you stay in an abusive relationship even if you're being taken care of by your spouse and your kids have been taken care of? Would you stay there? And the number to call this morning is on WhatsApp is still 1317-406-6469. And call in. We want you to call in so that we can talk about some of these issues and concerns that has to do with relationships, marriages, And I just wanted to poke the bear a bit, just my normal way of, saying things. And because I've seen this thing severally, that a lot of people in political areas, political arenas, or let me say politicians, male and female, tend to stay in abusive relationships because they don't want to that position. Because most times, a lot of political positions, part of, not really the criteria, but people will look, if it can be marriage, if it can be with a man and a woman, then you will be responsible. Do you know how many irresponsible men and women are in marriages? And I bet even the single ones are the most responsible most times compared to those. But a lot of people are stuck in there because people will talk about, because I've seen people in political offices and, and something would happen and they're telling you, they divorce. And people are saying, he has divorced. I don't think he's a responsible person. For him, how is he holding this high-profile office and he's not married? But I think times have changed.
Time has changed.
Times have really changed. People should break out of that mentality and let me be who I am for who I am. Not because I'm married, not because I'm single, not because I am, because people do not. And I'm telling you the truth. These things happen. And we've seen it play out most of the time. And I've seen even circular jobs. When you go for interviews, the interviewer is asking you, are you married?
How is that your business?
That is not your business. Some of them want to size you up like if you are married, if you can handle a man or a woman, then you should be able to handle. I am seeing singles busting it, like being at the peak. Right? So, and these are because of some of those things, some people tend to stay in the marriage. Let me be there so that I can get this job, so that I can be relevant. Come on. We will just hear that in that your relevance, you will die. You would lose it all. Your self-esteem, your charisma, everything about you will be lost. Because if you have been abused, it speaks volume to what happens to you. I've seen this thing happen before, and I do not pray for even my enemy to be part of it. Right? So, talking about that, I think the world at large, we should start opening and being realistic to some of these things than always thinking that, I mean, it's only the married people that can be responsible. No, I don't subscribe to that. You can be in a marriage and still be responsible. A lot of people are in that marriage, they are not responsible, but they are being beaten, battered, humiliated. You know, I think it's time to also speak out. And, you know, and one of the reasons, too, why people stay in some of this, and talking about just relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, relationship. Yeah, I've seen, and this is some of the things. I remember when we were in the university, right? And there were relationships around. Classmates, I knew a lot of people who were in that relationship because they were getting something from the guy or the girl, maybe academic help. Because, you know, I want to pull through. If I lose him now, I won't be able to make this out. And the guy will be molesting them, or the girl will be doing the wrong thing. But because they are gaining something, they will stay in that relationship. They will stay in that affair until something happens. And, you know, they lose it. And see, the effect of abusive relationship is not an immediate effect. At times, it's not immediate. It stretches over time and walks into your future. I've seen in abusive relationships before that people carry that mentality into even when they don't find love. They carry it, man, this is how I was treated. But if the other person is even coming with a good mind or a good perception, I mean, you know, good motive, they are blinded already because that was what they saw in that one, and they don't even, some people don't even give love a chance again. I've seen people, man, I not even in this world again, they was, no. I know how to get myself, to get my groove on. So I don't even need a man, I don't need a woman. Let me just remain, you know. So some of this thing, there's an after effect.
Yeah, it's the trauma that comes from it. Yeah. Every abuse, I think every abuse causes trauma.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And that trauma is the after effect that you're speaking about. Because when you have not dealt with your trauma, you're gonna be affected by it, and not in a good way, negatively. Unless you just find some coping skills to be able to, you know, deal with the trauma. And that goes back to say, from what you're saying, is every abusive relationship, whether it's just a relationship or marriage, marital status, whatever it is, it's always, most times, people stay because of the goals that they have, right? We spoke about different options, different reasons why they do stay.
Yeah.
But there's always a goal. Whether that goal is I'm being financially provided to. Yeah. Whether the goal is there's a status that I want to reach in life, whether it's political, like you were speaking about. Okay. Or whether it's just a status, wealth status, whatever it is, there's always a goal in mind. So, I mean, that goes back to what I said earlier. So we just, my position, you guys already know. No.
Yeah. All right. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is Complicated, your favorite streamed live program that comes your way by 12:30 p.m. every Saturday. We don't want you to miss it. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official.Live Events, where you would get notifications every time we come live, and you'll be able to be part of this event, even from home, right? And once again, we want to thank our studio audience for coming in today to be part of it. We really appreciate you, and we thank you. And of course, we have gifts for you today, but you must win these gifts. It's not something that would come naturally. Some will come naturally, but we would compel you to do one or two things, of course, before you can get one of these exciting gifts that will be coming your way today. Just like I said, our YouTube channel is Official.Live Events. Note this, I need you to note that, because you would need it to do something when we want to, give out some of these gifts, right? Once again, it is Complicated, and we want to thank, our very good partner, Ellis Cousins, located at 6335 Intech Commons Drive, Indianapolis, where you get the best meal. When I mean the best meal ever, I would always leave here with, you know, with a takeaway, right? It's anywhere you are in Indianapolis or in North America. If you come to Indiana, please stop over at Ellis Sense, located at 6335 Intech Commons Drive, Indianapolis. There you get the best African meals. And at times, you can also get intercontinental meals to your satisfaction. They give nothing but the best. I'm a live witness of their food, and I can attest to it. And I know Falana, yeah, they cook exceedingly well, right? So very shortly, we'll go on, the final commercial break. And when we'll come back, we'll be rounding up on this topic, on Complicated. Don't go away. I and Asia are still in the studio to complete this edition of Complicated.
Welcome back. We're on Complicated. You have me, Asia Falane, and very own Yemi Ogumilade. I'll send it back to you. Well, if you were just joining in, we were talking about the topic relationships. So we do have our audience here, and we were talking about that. Our audience will win a special gift.
Yes. So, yes.
Okay.
So we have a couple of gifts here for our audience. And first, we're going to give the first audience who came into the studio today, we're going to give them one of our souvenirs from live events. So, Madam, please, can you come and take the first gift? I want to say thank you for coming to this show today. You were our first live audience. I want to appreciate you. So from Live Events Indie, we're giving you this hat. We want you to always wear it and get the best out of it. Thank you very much for coming. We sincerely appreciate. And I think we are also going to give this out to, I think we have just 2 audiences in the studio today. And we would recommend that if you want to be part of this show, please go to our website at www.liveeventsindie.com/complicated. There you would have the opportunity, to register and be part of the audience. And you, of course, get some of these fantabulous prizes, right? So I'd like to call on the 2 of you to come take these umbrellas please just come around one after each, from the live events team, want to say thank you. And of course, it's still raining, so you can have some of this. Just use it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So that's from live event. I want to say thank you, our very glorious audience. Thank you very much. So I think the final prize is going to come this way. You're going to take one of these home, right? And so we want to see the fastest fingers, right? We want you to, while seated there, subscribe to our YouTube page right away, and let's know which of you can do that fast, and you're going to take this home. So, should I read out our our YouTube page address? Official.live events. Yeah. We're watching. The director is checking who did that first, and we are going to have you. It's going. It's going. And even if you're at home too, if you have the fastest finger, we might just keep this and mail it to you wherever you are. Has anyone subscribed? Have you subscribed?
Did you just do it?
Official the live event. I hope you didn't subscribe to another YouTube page. Yeah, and you see us right now, right? Okay.
The email is not in yet. Let me go to YouTube and.
All right. So while the producer is doing that, we want to say once again, thank you for being part of this show. It's been complicated, and we've been here for close to 1 hour talking about issues that has to do with relationships, dilemmas in marriage, and everything that encompasses around relationship, right? And this is season 2, and it's going to be, right now, the director has not told us how many episodes it's going to be, right? But I know that in season 1, we had 13 episodes, right? And so it's at the discretion of the leadership of live events. Wherever they tell us to go, we go, right? So I want to say thank you to everyone who was part of this show. So on the winding up and rounding up, Ashafalana, I love that name, right? I have had situations where people, our mothers, our great-grandmothers, will say that I don't know how to put the proverb. It's an African proverb. I say it's the husband's house is a school of, not school of thought, like your husband's house is a school. Whatever you meet there, stick by it forever. But that proverb has made people not just die, become useless to themselves and their society. Because I've seen people who have lost their mind totally, like when I mean totally, they're out of this space and they're just a moving ghost. Still alive, but having no value any longer. Just because of a proverb, like you should stay in the marriage no matter what it takes. What would be your final take on that? Staying in the marriage, irrespective of whatever comes, including abusive.
That's why I said well, because I mean we know in marriage is till death do us part, right?
Yes.
However, I don't think that was included in being abused. So my take on that goes back to what I said when it's in regards to abusive relationship, but in marriage, stay through thick and thin, accept abuse. That's what I would say. That's my sure way of saying it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stay through thick and things, except if abuse is introduced.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I've learned a lot from that. Stay true things and things, right? Okay. I believe that our audience too in the studio today have had a lot to say, and they have a lot to take home today, right? But before we go home, Director, do you have the name of? All right. And what address would that be? What name would that be? So, I am, please can you come out? I think you won this. Please come. Being our first, you know, I would ask which of these, we have a fryer and we have a blender. You have, she just pointed to this. Come into the camera. All right. So just let the audience at home see you. So on behalf of Live Event, we want to say thank you for coming. Being our first audience, we really appreciate you. I want you to always come all the time once you are free, right? Thank you. A round of applause. Yeah, you want one, right? Okay, talk to the producer. I think he has a lot of that in his, yeah. All right, Asia Falana, it's been worthwhile being in the studio. It's been worthwhile being with you. It's been worthwhile being with you in the studio. For 13 episodes we were together, and I want to say thank you. I must say this, you brought out the best in me too, right? Because your vibes really helped this production. It really helped this production. We want to say thank you, and thank you once again. And of course, I won't go without thanking everyone behind the camera. I know sometimes my producer will just say, he doesn't want me to call his name and all that. But see, we wouldn't be here without Yomi Chat. He's the best producer ever. And I used to say this, at times he can be strict with us. Yesterday when we were having a meeting where he was like, you guys have to do this. Trust me, that's what a producer will say anytime because he wants the best. We want to say thank you very much, sir, Yomi Chat, for always being there. I want to also thank Sarah Sharifat, a co-producer of this. And behind the camera, this one man is always stepping in when it really matters. Thank you very, very, very much. And to all the cast and crew, I know everybody, Empress, who is not here today. Empress slept off, so she wasn't here in the studio with us today. She's always sleeping off, sometimes. But I'm sure in the next episode, she should be here. So, Falana, just one last word for the viewers at home and in the studio before we close the curtain for today.
If it's going to cost you your life, leave.
If it will cost you your life, please leave.
Yes, please.
Those are the final words from a very beautiful woman, whom I'm well pleased with. Asia, I said thank you for being part of this show today. Of course, that will not be taken away. You're one of the best and favorite hosts of this show. So even at times when I call myself your favorite host, hey, come on now, we know who is the favorite host.
I know, that's why I don't talk. You don't talk.
All right, and our viewers out there, everyone who has subscribed to YouTube page, we want to say thank you. And of course, our live audience, thank you very much. We want to have more of you come into the studio. And of course, you have the website. Please, even if you can come, share it with your friends to be part of this. And there are a lot of gifts to be won every episode. Once again, from Live Event, we want to say thank you. Thank you for being here for us. Thank you for being part of this show. And everyone who made this show a reality, I mean season 2, we want to say thank you. Till we come your way next week, Saturday by 12:30 p.m. It's Yemi Ogumilade and
Asia Falana
saying goodbye. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Take it real soon. You know we got what you need, baby. So take it, move along. I said we got what you need, honey. Come and move along. Come on. Rolling on that highway, you know. Wow. Come on, and groove along.
producer
But-
tells you
Okay,
to
is,
do
is,
something.
is it going to still be live while we do all that? Okay.
Even with the food.